Yes, Assemblyman, how are you?
Good morning. How are you, Mayor Graham? How's everything?
Oh, pretty good over here. A little chilly, but the sun's out, so that's all you can hope for, I guess. Are you down in Johnstown now?
I am at my home in the town of Johnstown, just outside of Gloversville.
Oh, okay. All right, and you do represent the Assembly District down there. What number is that?
That's right. That's the 118th Assembly District. That's the Mohawk Valley and the west half of the Adirondacks. It's Fulton, Hamilton, Herkimer, Montgomery, part of Oneida, and one town in Otsego counties.
Okay, well, it's hard for people to really grasp all these political subdivisions, but you're running for Congress in presumably a Republican primary against Mr. Constantino. It's gotten to be kind of a, I don't want to say vicious, but I don't know. You don't really like each other.
Oh, well, it's a big congressional district. There are 15 counties in it. It goes, Schoharie, Montgomery, Fulton, Herkimer, Hamilton, Oneida, Lewis, Jefferson, St. Lawrence, Clinton, Essex, Warren, Washington, and part of Saratoga County. So it's a big district, and it's very spread out. And I've been very fortunate. I've gotten endorsements from 11 of those 15 counties from the GOP committees in each of those.
Well, yes, and the state chair, Mr. Cox, is supporting you, and the conservatives, all of that stuff. But the race seems to me to be one of Constantino has the money and you have all the endorsements. How does that play out in a primary?
Well, it plays out exactly as you would imagine. This is a Republican primary. I am the only conservative Republican running in this race. I have been endorsed by the New York State Conservative Party. I've gotten support from 7 of the county committees that are around the district, which is very important. We are petitioning to get on the conservative line. We will be on the ballot in November. It's very exciting. The support has been overwhelming amongst the Republicans. We're getting our numbers in, and for sure we've gotten, at this point, we're probably 3 times the number that we need, and we have 2/3 of the counties to turn in their petitions. We've got hundreds of volunteers out there knocking on doors amongst the Republicans for me to get my name on the ballot.
Okay, there was some question raised in the Watertown Times this morning about Mr. Constantino's ballot access efforts. Do you have anything to light to shed on that?
Well, I don't know what he's doing. I know I am certainly not trying to buy my way onto the ballot by having to send paid people out. Everybody that I have going out here are volunteers. They're Republican committee members, just as I am. I'm a member of the Fulton County Republican Committee in the town of Johnstown, right here where I live. And we go out and we knock on doors. I've done it for years and years. And I really, truly appreciate all of the volunteers, especially with those within earshot of your radio station in Jefferson, St. Lawrence, and Lewis counties, for going out, asking their friends and neighbors to nominate me, to get me on the ballot. It's one of those special things. Petitioning your government is one of the rights that's enshrined in the Constitution. And this is just one of those things where, in the case of the Republicans and the conservatives, which I represent right now in the Assembly, they're going out there and they're participating in democracy. I think it's fantastic.
I guess I have to ask you, there is a primary. I mean, you can win or lose. If you lost the Republican primary, would you vacate the conservative line, which you have an option to do, I think, within 3 days or something like that?
Yeah, we'll certainly cross that bridge. When I win the primary, I want to know that my opponent is given up at that point, sort of thing. The endorsements, getting out there and campaigning around the district is something that I've done very consistently now since I've announced my candidacy on November 20th. I've been to every county. I've been to all across the district asking people, holding meet and greet meetings, going to businesses, going out there. You can take a look at robertsmullenforcongress.com, see what I'm all about, see what I'm about on all of the issues, and I'm very confident that I'm going to win this race. Okay.
Well, listen, you've got, let's say you win the primary and you're on as the R and the C candidate. Is your likely opponent Blake Gendabine? Is that how you're looking at this race?
Well, I don't know who the Democrats are going to finally settle on in terms of their nomination. But, he's been out there before. Previously, when Congresswoman Stefanik had been nominated for the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, I do know that the 15 county chairs in the congressional district had all gotten together, both the Republicans and the Democrats, and they had announced their intention to nominate Jen Bean from St. Lawrence County. I don't know if that's going to hold up or not. I know there's going to be a primary, and I know there's a candidate from Glens Falls that's running, and we'll see. We'll know here in the beginning of April who's actually on the ballot for a Democrat or a Republican primary, for that matter.
What is the deadline for submitting petitions?
I believe it's the beginning part of April, and then they all get looked at by the New York State Board of Elections, and then they get certified as to who's actually done the petitions correctly, and are they all valid, and are you going to be on the ballot? And then we'll see who's going to be on the Democrat and the Republican lines.
Now, do you have people ready to scour his petitions? Because usually people have lawyers on retainer in these elections.
Well, I'm sure all of the petitions will be looked at very closely by everyone. This is very important that the law is actually followed in this case, that, what's happening out there, in this case with my hundreds of volunteers knocking on thousands of doors in 15 counties, the preliminary numbers that we've had coming back are showing extraordinary success in getting signatures for these petitions. So I'm certain that my petitions are going to pass muster, and that I'm going to be on the ballot for both the Republicans.
What about polling and so on? Everybody claims to have done polling. Are you ahead of Constantino or behind? Or
well, it's far too early to do a polling. This race, this is a primary that's going to be in June, and right now voters are deciding who they think should just simply be on the ballot. And they'll decide in due time who they're going to vote for in the election, and we'll do polling when it's the right time.
Okay, you've run commercials that have really taken a shot at Constantino, sort of that he's morally not qualified and all of this.
I think frankly he's unfit to serve, is what I've called him.
Yeah, and why is that?
He's I was in the Marine Corps for 24 years. I did 3 combat tours in Afghanistan, and he's called me an effing coward, and I think that's completely unacceptable. I think that's a slap in the face to all the veterans who have served our country all over this district. I demand that he apologize for those remarks. He's refused to do so. But I'm looking forward to debating him in public on TV in all of the 4 corners of this district so we can discuss this in public.
Now, do you have any inkling where these debates are? I realize they'll probably wait till after the petitions to set them up.
Well, yeah, so certainly, this is a big district. It's 15 counties. There's the Capital District area. There's the, Utica, Rome area. There's Watertown and St. Lawrence, and there's Plattsburgh. So I'm hoping that the TV stations from across those 4 areas, as well as radio stations, as well as print media, as well as interested citizens, they would come to a debate like this and find out the difference, to be able to compare my record of service, my servant leadership style. My position right now as a state legislature, as the chairman of the Assembly Republican Conference. I had every single member of the New York State Assembly Republican Conference, 46 members from all across the state, from all walks of life. They have endorsed me in this race. They believe in my candidacy, and I'm taking that and I'm telling all the people what's going on and what my policies are.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to those debates.
Now, getting to issues, there's really, I guess, 2 of them I see. One is the affordability thing that everybody's talking about, not just gas prices, but utility bills. Kathy Hochul wants to tax the rich now and all of this stuff, or the legislature does at least. What's your view on the affordability thing as it relates to the federal government and the Congress?
Well, it's something that I actually know a lot about because I've worked on it significantly, in my time during the state assembly. I'm one of the leading people that we have on taxation in New York State, on regulation, and I know what one-party rule has done to us here in upstate New York. It's crushing our families, it's crushing our businesses, it's crushing even our school districts who can't afford the energy to be able to turn the lights on and keep the buildings heated in upstate New York winters. And they're crushing us with this electric school bus mandate, which I've fought against for years now. But what I'll be able to do is take that experience and that knowledge into Congress, to the federal government, and to be able to work to help build businesses in New York State, to expand broadband access, to help our small town economies investing in our infrastructure. So these are the things that I've worked on significantly. And I've done this before. You know, I've worked at the Pentagon doing budgeting work, so I've seen this movie before in Washington, D.C., and I'll be able to directly benefit the people of this district, including Fort Drum, whom I served with soldiers from in combat in Afghanistan.
Everybody claims to be Donald Trump's friend. Is he supporting you, or what's going on there?
Well, I was actually appointed by President Trump to the President's Commission on White House Fellows in his first administration. So I know a lot about Washington, D.C. in that regard and what Trump 45 and Trump 47 means. You know, I'm the only person that could have possibly voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 primary because I was the only one that was registered as a Republican at the time. And in fact, I was the only one registered as a Republican during the first Trump administration. My opponent registered as a Democrat in 2018. And he also registered as a Democrat again in 2022 during the Biden administration. And he only decided to register as a Republican in November of 2024 after President Trump was elected for a second time. So I believe that I'm the only conservative Republican in this race, and Republican primary voters need to know that.
Okay, and the other issue obviously is this war that's going on. Are you comfortable with it all? I mean, troops are, the U.S. military is doing fine as far as executing it, but it kind of looks to a lot of us like we got in over our head here.
Well, I've actually been in the area. I was part of a Marine Expeditionary Unit in 1999 that was sent to the Persian Gulf to do maritime interdiction operations off the coast of Iran. I've actually transited the Straits of Hormuz on high alert. And I know that our brave men and women in uniform that are over there doing their duty right now, what dangers they're facing. And they've done a magnificent job, and we need to support them 100%. As far as Iran goes, they've never been our friend. Iran has been our enemy since 1979 for over, 47 plus years at this point, sort of thing. And we need to make sure that they never get a nuclear weapon. It's if they did, when they combine it with their ballistic missile technology, they would want to wipe Iran, they would want to wipe Israel off the map. And if they could, they would hurt the United States itself. So we need to make sure that we contain them, and we need to make sure that we're ready to keep the Iranians, to end this war as soon as we can.
I hate to use the overused expression "boots on the ground," but I've never heard of any country taking over or toppling a regime without having some kind of land effort. And go ahead.
Certainly, that would be another level of escalating. Putting boots on the ground, whether it was Marines on the islands that are off Iran. But I don't think that's the intention right now. I think the intention is to bring the conflict to a close and make sure that we have attained our goals, which is to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon and ensuring the free flow of energy resources out of the Persian Gulf.
Okay. Well, what are ways people can contact you?
Yeah, so people should look at my website. It's www.robertsmullenforcongress.com. You can find out where I stand on all of the policies that are out there, and I'm talking about them. And if they want to, they can support. They can sign up to get my emails. They can sign up to get one of my yard signs. They can sign up even to donate if they'd like to do that.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it sounds like you're moving right along there. We'll see what happens with petitions, and wish you the best.